This is Earthsong Falls as Mistweaver Monk. This is not a dungeon guide, I'm not an expert at this game, this represents my personal experience with a random dungeon group. So we're starting right in the middle of Maraudon. Right as you enter that dungeon, you could totally turn around and do like the rest of it. The Wicked Grotto and Foulspore Cavern is back behind. So Earthsong Falls is like the end of... Oh, I just automatically got the quest for this. That's nice. Earthsong Falls is the end of this dungeon. Like I said before, I accidentally did not get any footage of the Wicked Grotto, as in this character hadn't even done that. I just somehow missed it in the dungeon list as I went through. So we won't be seeing any healing on that until I level another healer character. One of the things that's bothering me most about this experience I'm having with this game right now is just all of the, like, how do you say it? All the stuff that I can lose access to as my character levels up. My wish would be that all of these dungeons would remain open to me, possibly with the numbers rebalanced at max levels, so that if, like, I want to play an old dungeon, I can still do it. I mean, there are reasons that wouldn't work. There are reasons that other players might not want the same thing. I'm just kind of standing and doing nothing. Guess I didn't feel like attacking that day. Maybe I was distracted or something. Anyway, so we got a paladin tank here. I see a shaman. I see... that's probably a rogue. Let's see, does anything else use a yellow energy bar? I think monks do, but that's not a monk, right? Anyway, yeah, so Earthsong Falls, not particularly large. None of the three split-up wings of Maraudon really are. It would be pretty large if you did it all at once. But the three split-up versions of it are not too big. Action bar looks pretty familiar, about the same as ever. It looks like silence is going on. That just means I can't cast any spells, but... and everybody's taking damage all at once. So still doing this, I am continuing to learn more things about mana efficiency and healing efficiency and how to play this class. Every time I watch these, you know, this is, as of this recording, this is several weeks old. Still have a pretty large buffer to get through on this. Target is tapped. Okay, there's another skinner here. The rogue is also skinning things. That makes sense. Right, so, yeah, every time I look back at one of these, I see a lot of things that I probably would have done differently. I kind of end up probably using Enveloping Mist, my number 2 ability, more than I maybe should. I don't know, it's... does that silence effect also deal damage or something? Like, everybody took damage at the same time that that went up. My Renewing Mist, the number 4 spell, is pretty weak at this level, but becomes one of my best abilities later. Currently it only has 1 charge, just does a little bit of extra healing over time, and can spread to a player who needs healing if the one that it's on is full. This place is a little confusing if you don't know the route. Taking the path of least resistance does tend to kind of get you to the end, but if you take a wrong turn, you can end up on a long hallway that leads nowhere. There are like big return trip routes if you accidentally fall off the waterfall at the top, or, you know, other things. I came back and explored this one on my own later just to see where all the side paths led. And to collect some deep rock salt, because this was one of the only places that seemed like one of the most reasonable places to get it, and I needed it for leveling professions and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so Renewing Mist. Guess I'll talk about that later when it changes, but yeah, like, abilities kind of change and evolve as you level up and numbers move around, you know. Things get stronger than other things relative to everything. It's complicated. But right now, my main healing is just to do start a Soothing Mist, hit an Enveloping Mist, then that's probably going to get the target to full, and I can just forget about them for a little bit and start attacking, unless they're taking really heavy damage. in which case I might add a Renewing Mist, do some Vivifies if they really need it. Vivify is a spell that I just don't find myself using all that much. Yeah, back at this level, I mean, I'm using it a bunch right here. I'll use it if several people in the party need healing all at once. What am I curious about? I checked whether that was actually a protection paladin for some reason. Why was I doubting that? So yeah, if your talent specialization... so the protection spec is specifically for playing the tank role. You can still queue into the dungeon as a damage roll, even if you have the wrong specialization for it, if your class is capable of it. So you can just put whatever you want into the box, I think. I don't seem to see people in the wrong specialization queued as a role that they're not built for these days, but it can happen. Oh, I think maybe I was seeing something that looked like the old Divine Storm ability. Back when I played, Divine Storm was a Retribution Paladin ability. Retribution's the damage dealer. Only. And Protection didn't get it. But that knowledge is several expansions old. I think that was what prompted me to look at that. So I think there's something that looks kind of like how I remember Divine Storm looking now that Protection gets access to. Anyway, I'm going to level a Paladin at some point. I'll get answers to these questions by actually playing the class and seeing it. The reason that I'm not... Ooh, you stun everybody for a while. You're not dealing any damage. Everybody's just sitting there doing nothing. That seems kind of pointless. Huh. One of the reasons I'm not leveling any other characters right now, other than the warrior I already had on this server, is because I need to get a bunch of stuff done at max level to unlock the race choices that I've chosen for the characters I want to create. A lot of the interesting ones now seem to require that you do some kind of secondary things to make them available. I could make the classes that I want in the races that are available in the base game, but I don't know. I'm going to be patient. Just focus on my monk and secondarily the warrior until I'm ready to create the others. So yeah, Farron the monk has to reach level 120 and do some other stuff before I can start creating my other characters. Because I want my paladin to be a Zandalari troll, just because I find the concept of a troll paladin kind of funny. I don't want to play as a blood elf. Tauren would be fine, but, you know, troll is funnier, so that's what I want. Can't make a Darkspear troll paladin. Gotta be Zandalari. Where are we going? This is the way? Somebody died from that jump. Whoopsie. Oh, did you fall all the way down? Paladin already has him covered. Why did we jump down there? That's not part of the route that I know. That seemed unnecessary. We totally could have gone around and not risked that. I guess they thought it was quicker. Maybe it is slightly. But is it quicker if you have to resurrect someone at the same time? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, monk is fun to play. Like, I have no problem with the monk as a class. It's just that, whoa, that's a lot of damage all at once. What's going on? Why am I... Oh, well, I'm not healing because I'm silenced. You can't. I think the paladin used one of his self-healing abilities there, because that health bar went up without me doing anything. Yeah, that was a lot of silence all at once. Pretty dangerous. Yeah, so anyway, monk is cool. I like playing monk. But I just feel like it makes me a better player to understand more mechanics of the other classes. So like I could make a throwaway character to figure it out. I could play some of my old Alliance characters that I have, but I don't know. I'm just going to be patient. and wait until I can create the ones that I want to actually keep. So pretty close to the end of this dungeon. There's an optional boss after the official final one here. We don't kill it, so we stop at the prescribed end. Yeah, there sure is a lot of, like, whole party hitting damage here. And it's not clear to me just from looking at this what specifically is doing that. Like, do these giant stomp attacks cleave or, like, hit everything in front of them or something? I don't know. I think I'd have to look at my combat log to figure that out. And that's not something I tend to open up unless I'm trying to diagnose some issue that I can't get information on otherwise. This horse that paladin keeps summoning, I think is the equivalent to that roll that I did there. Just about all the classes now seem to have this, some kind of medium cooldown ability that lets them move faster for a moment, no matter where they are. You can mount up and actually ride something that'll move you faster when you're outside and not in combat, but most of the time in a dungeon you're not outside. Certainly not in this one. Some dungeons let you mount up, but not this one. Some nice scenery in here. I like the way this dungeon looks. This wing of it is pretty different from the rest. All these cliffs and waterfalls and plants and stuff. Yeah, there's that whole party damage again. Something's doing that. Is a little hammer, like, flying all around? Is that a... I assume it's a paladin thing because it's a hammer, but I just don't know. Ah. Oh hey, we have 3 people from Ragnaros in the party. That's a server with a reputation. I won't say any more, but if you've played this game with the Dungeon Finder, you probably know about it. I wonder if they're all together or if they just happen to be grouped. It's hard to know. Alright, Princess Theradress, last boss of this place. She does this nasty thing that's, yeah, that's kind of annoying for a healer, because if you have to stand still and channel a spell or, you know, anything that's not an instant cast or doesn't let you do it while you're moving, that'll be constantly interrupting it. Then she does that. Yeah, she switched targets there. I assume that's something she just does, so I need to be ready to be hit by her if she decides to do that again. Because there's definitely no way I just naturally pulled threat from the paladin tank. She just decided to do that. Alright, so puffs of dust again. Like, I would not be able to channel Soothing Mist during that. All I could do was, what's that thing called? Okay, so fear on everybody else. Then I'm too far away from her for the fear, so she doesn't target the ones who are running away. Maybe the idea is I'd stay in close while that's happening so that I get feared and don't get targeted? I don't know what the strategy is here. Doesn't matter much because this is an old dungeon and you can kind of mostly just ignore the mechanics and heal through it. That's the case for pretty much everything until I start playing heroic dungeons, probably. Except for a few. And some of them you still have to pay attention, even on this old stuff. So I got the fear that time, and she didn't decide to target me. Yeah, it looks like she stayed on her primary target, so it looks like if you wanted to do the mechanic, you just stay in close after you get pushed away. Maybe? It's hard to tell. Yeah, so I get the achievement for the dungeon. Even though I haven't done all 3 parts of it, all you have to do is kill the last boss. Quest auto-completes, that's nice. And I get an upgrade. Cool. Got some new abilities, got some new dungeons unlocked. And there's somebody to talk to here that apparently I was curious about. doesn't say much. Alright, well that's where the song falls. See you for the next one.